everyone, I hope you all are doing fine and are taking care of yourselves. My name is Kanika Tandon and I am here with the video of Class 8 English 2nd. In our last video, we were reading the chapter number 8, the prize poem, and today we are going to complete the chapter and also do the exercise of it. Starting our today's video with the remaining explanation of the chapter number 7, the prize position. In our last video we read that all of the three students, Morrison, Montgomery and Smith, have written the same type of the poem. The first 4 lines of the poems were the same, and as the principal of the college, Mr. Percival, have sent the sheets for checking to one of his great college friends, Mr. Wells, he has returned all the poems, all the sheets with a letter that these 3 students have started the poem in very same lines. Now let us read what has happened next. Now, for what purpose did I summon you 3 boys? Asked Mr. Percival of Smith, Montgomery and Morrison in his room after morning school that day. Now, all of these 3 students, Montgomery, Smith and Morrison, have been called by the principal to his office to interrogate that how these 3 students have actually written the same lines in the poem. He generally began a painful interview with this question. The method had distinct advantage. If the criminal were of a nervous disposition, he would give himself away upon that instant. And now, as Mr. Percival was actually very experienced person, he started this interrogation with this painful question, because he was very clear that if the criminal was actually guilty, he would give himself upon that instant, right? In any case, it was likely to stare him. For what purpose? Repeated the headmaster, fixing Smith with a glittering eye. And now he has again, with a very tough voice, have asked the same question again. Now, I will tell you, continued Mr. Percival, it was because I desired information which none but you only can supply. Now he is asking the 3 students that there is some information that he wants from them, and only they can give that information to Mr. Percival. How come it is that each of your composition for the poetry prize commence with the same 4 lines? The 3 poets looked at each other in speechless astonishment. And now the Mr. Percival has asked all the 3 that how come you have started your poem in the same 4 lines, and since the students did not stole the poem from anybody, so they did not know that somebody else also have written the same lines. So they were very surprised to hear this, and they were looking at each other in a very surprising manner. Here he resumed, the principal they are talking about, are the 3 papers, compare them now. After the inspection was over, the explanation have you to offer. Smith, are these your lines? And when the principal actually gave their sheets and asked them to understand what has happened here, they have given the principal asks the question to Smith, are these your lines? I wrote them. Don't prevaricate. Smith, are you the author of these lines? And now the principal has understood that he has not written these lines, so he is asking Smith not to tell lie, and asked him again whether he was the author of these lines. No, sir. Very good. Are you, Montgomery? He also said no. Very good. Then you, Morrison, are exonerated from all the blames you have exceedingly badly treated. You can go, Morrison. And now, since Smith and Montgomery confessed that they have not written these lines, so the principal understood that Morrison had written those lines. So he was actually he was taken out of all the blames and was ordered to go back. But Morrison was being honest, and he replied But sir, well Morrison, I didn't write them. And I don't quite understand you, Morrison. You say that you are indebted to another for these lines, and now when Morrison has also confessed that he has not written, now the principal has asked whether they have asked for someone else for this favor. Yes sir. To Smith? No sir. To Montgomery? No sir. Then Morrison, may I ask to whom you are indebted? And now he has asked, since these three students have written the same lines, so the first suspects were these two only. So the principal asks Morrison whether he was indebted, whether he had asked the favor from Smith or from Montgomery to write the lines for him. I found them, now Morrison is saying, I found them in the field on a piece of paper, sir. He claimed the discovery himself because he thought that Evans might possibly prefer to remain outside this tangle. Now, he wanted to keep Evans, who was the junior he actually indebted to get the lines from, to write the lines. He actually wanted him to be out of this matter. So he himself said that he got it from a from on the he got it from the ground. So did I, sir. This from Montgomery. Mr. Percival looked bewildered, as indeed he was. And did you, Smith, also find the poem on the piece of paper in the field? There was a metallic ring of sarcasm in his voice. And now he was making fun of the excuse. He thought that they were giving an excuse, and now he was making fun of it and asked Smith whether he had also found it lying on the ground. No, sir. Then what circumstances were you indebted for these lines? Now Smith is actually confessing for, as I got Reynolds to do them for me, sir. Montgomery spoke. It was near the infirmary that I found the paper, and Reynolds isn't there. And now Smith has actually confessed that he asked Reynolds to do them for him, and um Montgomery also told the principal that he found that piece of paper near the infirmary, near the hospital where um Reynolds is actually getting recovered from his German measles. Then am I to understand, Smith, that to gain the prize you restored to such unhand means as this? Now the principal is asking Smith that just to get the prize you actually cheated the principal and the school? No, sir. We agreed that there was no danger of my getting the prize. If I had got it, I should have told you everything. Renault will tell you that, sir. And now, Smith has actually told the principal that it was his idea that Reynolds will write the poem, and he will, if he gets the prize, he will have to tell everything to the principal. Then what object had you in the pursuing this deception? Well, sir, the rule says everyone must send in something, and I cannot write poems at all. Reynolds likes it, so I asked him to do. And now when principal asked him that what made him write the do this cheating, he answered him very without any fear that it was compulsory for everyone to take participation in the poem writing competition, but he is not a poet, so, and he cannot write poetry. But Reynolds wanted, and it was his hobby to write poems, but he could not take part as he was in the infirmary, so he asked him to do that on behalf. And Smith waited for the storm to burst, but it did not burst, for far down in Mr. Percival's system lurked a quiet sense of humor. He remembered the examiner's letter, and it dawned upon him that there are few cruel things than to make prosaic person write poem. Now, as Smith had confessed that he had cheated the principal and the competition, he was waiting the principal to get angry on him. But the principal did not get angry on him. Instead, he realized that it is a very cruel thing to do, to make a person who does not write poems force them to write one. "You may go," he said, and the three went away. So all the three students were sent back to their rooms. And at the next board meeting, it was decided, mainly owing to the influence of an exceedingly eloquent speech from the headmaster, to alter the rules for the sixth form poetry prize, so that from thence onwards no one need compete unless he himself filled with immortal fire. And when the next on the next time when this when this competition had to take place, it was a speech that was delivered by the principal, in which he had altered all the rules for the competition, because he did not wanted the students to write the poem with a pressure on them. He wanted that the students, those who are willing to take part, those who are actually very good at writing poems, should only be taking the part. So he actually ordered the rules and regulations that were made for this poem. So this was the story, and I hope that you have understood it. Let us continue the video with the exercise part. Question number 1 on page number 101. Every story has some essential elements that allow the reader to understand the events that happen in the story. In the table given below, match the story element to the example. First one is, the characters are individuals in a story, a play, or a film. So now the examples are: Smith, the competition was compulsory, 3 entries had the same verse. Smith, Reynolds, Morrison, and Mr. Percival. So these are the characters. Characters are what? On which the story is based upon, the people who are playing the role. So the competition was not compulsory. Smith, Reynolds, Morrison, and Mr. Percival were the characters of the story. The setting is the location of the action. So this is St. Austin College. Now we have to set the location where this film is. Where this story is happening. That was St. Austin College. The conflicts are the problems that exist within the plot of the story. So what are the problems? The competition was compulsory and 3 entries had the same verse. The climax is highest moment of suspense and excitement, the turning point of the story. The 3 poets looked at one another in a very speechless astonishment. So it was very surprising for them, as they did not know that this kind of a thing will happen. So they were very surprised to see something like this happening. So they were looking at each other. Next is, the resolution is the part of the plot that is the solution of the problem or the conflict. So what was the solution? The competition was not compulsory any longer. Only those who wanted to write poetry could take part in it. Coming on to the next exercise, which is the word wall. So now this is a crossword puzzle and we have to fill it. So first is across. We'll do the across first. Imaginative stories that involve magic and adventure. So it is actually a genre. You know what is a genre? Is the type of the category in which a film, a story, or a play is categorized. Like we watch action movies, right? So the genre is action. If we watch a movie with some suspense, so that comes under thriller. If we are watching some comedy movie, this comes under comedy genre. If we are watching some romantic love story, so it comes in under romance. And if there is very tragic story, means everybody is going to end, these are the documentary on world wars and stories like this where everybody is actually dying, that is tragedy. This comes under these types of stories, these types of films comes under tragedy. And there are more genre like what else? There are many more, you will understand. So first is imaginative stories that involve magic and adventure. So this is fantasy. Fantasy. I'm sorry, this is actually not very much um, visible, but you can hear and write. Then 4, a group of words set to music and meant to be sung. It is song. SONG. Here, wait, we can do one thing. This is fan TASY. Next is a group of words set to music and meant to be sung. It is song. SONG. Next is a poem mourning the death of someone is elegy. ELEGY. Next is a story that revolves around the solution for a crime is mystery or thriller, you can also say. MYSTERY. A humorous poem of 5 lines is called Limerick. LIMERICK. A form of text performed for an audience, a play. It is drama. DRAMA. Next is a very long poem narrating heroic deeds and events. It is epic. EPIC. Now coming from across, we'll come to down. A short moral story that usually has animals for characters is fable. FABLE. Next is a short piece of writing on a particular subject is essay. ESSAY. A story that is passed down from one generation to another is folktale. FOLKTALE. The genre of story, the prize poem is the genre for the story prize poem is comedy. I don't know why, but it is comedy. And a detailed description of a person's life written by someone else is biography. This you already know. BIOGRAPHY. Coming on to the next exercise. Question number 2. Using a word or a short phrase, give the meanings of the following phrase, then use the phrase in sentences of your own. So first is without enthusiasm. What is the meaning of enthusiasm? If we take an example of sports day, the students that take part in race and all the other events, they do things with very much of zeal and excitement. So whenever we do things without excitement, like we don't want to do but we have to do, like this, like the kids in this story, they did not want to take part in the poetry competition because they did not know how to do, but they still had to. So they took part in that competition without any kind of enthusiasm. So without enthusiasm means not very keen to participate. Next is speechless astonishment. This means surprise. They did not know what was going to happen here. Why were they called to the principal's office? So they were surprised to see each other. Next is fairly decent. Good to a large extent. Means good to a large extent means that it was, whatever the decision was taken was very fair and decent. Waited for the storm to burst, waited for someone to get angry. As Smith was ready to accept the anger of the principal, so he was waiting for the principal to get angry, but he did not get. that was some other thing, but meaning is waited for someone to get angry. And you can make the sentences on your own, like uh, without enthusiasm you can use like she ran the race without any enthusiasm but still got the first prize, or anything else. She danced without enthusiasm and did not get any prize. You can write anything. Next is speechless astonishment. You can say that my father is a soldier, but today when I no, not this. Like you can write anything. Like when will you get surprised? Okay, you can write this, that ki, as I got back from school, I saw my father with a bicycle. My father brought a bicycle for me, and I was speechlessly astonished. Simple. Next is fairly decent. Means my bicycle is working fairly decent. Waiting for someone to burst the storm. I broke a cup in my house and waited for my mother. Waited for my mother to burst the storm. Next is prepositions. So we have to fill in the blanks with the correct prepositions. I will go to Delhi next week with my parents. She is in the room. You could go and meet her there. Place the slice of cheese between the two slices of bread. He lives in Tokyo. She is driving to Mumbai. I am expecting a guest at 5 o'clock. Sharp. I have been waiting since 2 o'clock. I collected money for a good cause. There have been a lot of changes made to the city in the last decade. I believe in the goodness of a man. Next is on the next page, we have to join the pair of the sentences with using conjunction that are given in the brackets. So you all know what conjunctions are. Conjunction are the word that are used to join two sentences and make them one. I knocked on the door, no one answered. Now we have to join the sentence using but. So it is, I knocked on the door but no one answered. Tom likes being in a boarding school. He misses his family. We have to use although. So here will be, although Tom likes being in a boarding school, he misses the family. Next is, my family gave me a library membership card for my birthday. I love reading since. So you can start it writing, since I love reading, my family gave me a library membership card for my birthday. We must harvest rainwater. We can recharge our wells. So we must harvest rainwater so that we can recharge our wells. We can play chess. We can do a jigsaw puzzle. Either and or. Either we can play chess or do a jigsaw puzzle. You can leave right now. You will miss the train unless. You'll miss the bus unless you leave right now. Daniel plays the piano. He plays the drum. Not only but also. So Daniel not only plays the piano but also the drums. The athletes must be very tired. They have been working out all morning. So the athletes must be very tired as they have been working out all morning. Jane is not present. Jane's parents are not present. So neither and nor. So neither Jane nor her parents are present. I will return your book. I will finish reading it as soon as. So I will return your book as soon as I finish reading it, or you can write, as soon as I finish reading your book, I will return it. Coming on to the next and the last exercise. Correct the spellings. Tick the spellings that are correct. Check in dictionary to see how many of you have got right. So these are the spellings that are correct. You can do it in your book. If you want to do, you can do it yourselves and then check it yourself. So with this chapter is the exercise of this chapter is over. In my next video, I am going to give you all the question answers of the chapter. Till then, take care and keep studying.